ask me anything.
Okay. So I put a banner there.
I just see, yeah, I see that.
Yeah, I'll delete that in a second. One, two, three, four, five, six. We are on like 7 channels. So I will just take 1 minute to share. So I don't take that minute when you're on. Share. You can put that. I got it on my Twitter as well.
Okay.
And you can publish that all you want from your side. And then I turn off my everything here. Ready? We're going on 3, 2, 1. أهلا وسهلا بحضراتكم أهلي وإخوتي في الوطن العربي الكبير. معنا النهاردة المحامي الكبير Mr. Jesse Bليس. How you doing, sir? First of all, this is Ramadan. People are fasting. The schedule back home is a little different nowadays. They're watching a lot of TV, and after breakfast, they have a full stomach. So audience will not be that much because there's a game that playing now at the same time. I just want to take the chance to say welcome again with us here, and you have the microphone.
Well, it's just a pleasure to be here. Hopefully I can, provide the audience answers to any questions they have related to the diversity visa program or other immigration questions. I certainly respect Ramadan and the game that's on, but we have a job to do here, and we'll do it.
Yep.
So let's get started.
Yep. And so let's start with what happened today. And I'm going to put it here on the screen with us. So just to let you know and everybody else know that we have this news today.
Yeah.
We have 418 mostly Moroccans in Johannesburg, and just very little number here in Asia and Europe. And with that, we can just start going on. So what do you see now, sir, when it comes to what's happening in 2020? In a brief, what is happening with 2020 for a start?
For Gomez?
Yeah.
Oh, so we're preparing our appellate brief now. That is due in a couple days. That's going to be a consolidated brief with the other cases in 2021. So, it's really just a response to the government's arguments that do not really relate to what's going on today for this year. But again, that litigation is ongoing. There's a stay in place that will remain. So for issuance of any visas, that's not going to happen until the court, the appellate court, issues a ruling and the government decides whether it wants to take the fight up to the Supreme Court if we win. So, the state of play right now is we're in litigation, we're in briefing, and we're going to have an argument perhaps in September, but those sympathetic individuals who are waiting to possibly get a visa are going to wait for a while longer.
سادتي وسيداتي، سألت المحامي القدير جيسي بليس، وهو يعتبر مهندس قضية جوميز، فسألته عن آخر تطورات قضية جوميز. قال إن الوضع الآن متوقف، يعني وقوف الحال على ما هو عليه بأمر محكمة الطعون، وسيأخذ الأمر وقتا أطول مما توقعنا طويل قليلا. سأسأله الآن ماذا عن البريف في شهر سبتمبر. So what can happen with the brief? People thinking that brief is like hearing from both sides, and if that can if the judge can make a decision on the same day, or what? People doesn't know about litigation, so can we talk about that, please?
Yeah. So when you file, there's an appeal right now that will be assigned to 3 judges of an appellate court, and the government has filed their appellate brief. In an appellate brief, they just, basically what they're doing is saying all the things that they believe Judge Mehta got wrong, including reserving visas. That's one of the big issues. They don't believe, the government does not believe a judge can reserve diversity visas past the deadline. And then we have our turn and we file a brief, which is an explanation of why we win and why Judge Mehta did the correct thing. And the case on appeal is combining 2020 Gomez and then 2021 as well. And then once the briefing is complete, we'll have also a kind of chance to rebut each other's briefs, meaning there'll be another set. The panel, the 3 members of the court, will probably have an argument where both sides will have 10 to 15 minutes, let's say, to argue and answer questions for the panel. And usually those arguments will let you provide somewhat of an indication of where the court is looking at making its decision. There may be, we don't know. So that's really the kind of the summation of where things stand at the appellate level. If we win, the visas for 2020 and those plaintiffs in 2021 should be issued a visa. If we lose, there will be no additional visas.
Okay, so we will go back to if in a few. اهلا وسهلا بكم مره اخرى. المحامي جيسي بليس شرح لحضراتكم. يا ريت لو نعمل شير يا جماعه، يا ريت لو كل واحد يعمل شير، لان ده موضوع يهم الناس كلها، وهنتكلم دلوقتي في 2022. المحامي جيسي بليس شرح لحضراتكم اللي بيحصل. بتحط في للابالت كورت، وفي 3 قضاه سيحكمون في الموضوع. بيحط المحامي بتاعكم بيحط تصوره، المحامي بتاع الخصم اللي هو الحكومة بيحط تصوره. الحكومة قالت ان هم بمنتهى البساطة مش مقتنعين بان جاج مهتا، القاضي أميت مهتا، هياخد او ليه الحق ان هو يحجز تأشيرات. وطبعا ده متوقع انهم يقولوا كده، مفيش مشكلة ابدا. سيكون امام محكمة الاستئناف او محكمة النقد البت في ذلك. لا نستعجب ما حدث بالمرة، وكان شيئا متوقعا اكيد. إذا استمر الوضع على ما هو عليه سيكون في جلسة استماع وملخص في يوم 6 سبتمبر إن شاء الله، وبعدها إذا حكمت المحكمة لصالحكم تبدأ مباشرة طبع التأشيرات وإصدار التأشيرات والمقابلات لكم، وإذا لم يحدث فلن يكون هناك شيء. So if yes, the issuance going to start and appointments and this and that, and we're going to know then what's going to happen. But if not, do we have a chance to appeal?
Well, either side will have a chance to appeal, but there's only one level to go, which would be the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court does not have to take every case that they get asked to take, and they don't. They take very few cases. So we'll have a chance, and the government may have a chance to appeal to the Supreme Court, but there's no guarantee that they'll accept the case. They don't have to accept it. So it's unlike the appellate court here. The Supreme Court can say, we don't want to hear this case, and they can just say the lower court is, approved or whatever. The lower court ruling will stand.
Okay. So السيد بيقول لحضراتكم هناك، أنا سألته إذا تم الحكم بنعم أم بلا، هل بعد كده إحنا لينا فرصة إن إحنا نطعن لو خسرنا هذه الجدول الخطوة؟ قال كل الطرفين من حقهم إنهم ياخدوا كمان فرصة، بس الفرصة تكون في المستوى الأعلى وهو السوبريم كورت، والسوبريم كورت وضع آخر، وليس القانون لا يلزم المحكمة العليا السوبريم كورت بقبول كل القضايا، ولا يظن أن المحكمة العليا ستأخذ هذه القضية لو حاول أحد الطرفين تصعيدها للمحكمة العليا. So the last question about 2020 and this the appeal court, what is your expectations for that? If we say I know the answer, but they want to know the answer as well. What is your expectation? Do you think we are on a good shape? Do you think our argument is stronger, or do you think we're basically stronger since we had judgment, order, and judgment?
No, I having worked on the brief, I'm and I can only speak to 2020. I'm not speaking to 2021 because the issues there are somewhat different. Somewhat, but I'll only speak to 2020 in our class of class members in the Gomez case. So yeah, I feel very strong. Number one, I have really involved myself in the no visa policy, meaning when the president suspends entry, the Department of State can or cannot stop processing and interviewing and issuing visas for immigrants, for all immigrants, not just diversity visas, but all of them. And our position is that's not lawful, and that issue is one I feel strongly about. I think that we are right, and we will win. Now, even if we win, there is this separate issue of, can a judge order the government to issue diversity visas after the fiscal year ends? And that we have to win that issue. And that issue is somewhat open, meaning it's not been decided before. I think the appellate court has indicated that a judge can do that. I am confident that this appellate court will see why it's necessary for a court to have that authority, because otherwise, the government could violate the law and we could never help those who are hurt.
Which is the purpose of checks and balances.
Of course. And even, I think people like to say, well, the Supreme Court is, conservative, but they are very conservative in the sense that they believe that a court can do what it's intended to do, which is help people who have been wronged right. And so Yeah, I feel confident on the appeal. I mean, I feel confident on the stay too, though. So, um, but yeah, I do feel as if our arguments are stronger today than they were when we first made them in September of 2020.
Good. اوكي. السادة والسيدات، أبشركم المحامي صاحب قضية جوميز. أنا سمعت ناس بيقولوا مين المحامي ده. المحامي ده صاحب قضية جوميز 2020 ومهندس نصر جوميز 2020. And we will tell in a little brief what is 2020 Gomez for those who was not here in time and those who didn't see what Gomez did and what Mr. جيسي بليس did. السيد جيسي بليس بيقول ان هو واثق ومتأكد من موقفه في القضية، وبيقول بمنتهى البساطة ان هو متأكد من موقفه الحالي اقوى من موقف جوميز في السابق، اي ان موقفكم حاليا اقوى من موقفكم يوم 20 سنة 2020. بل انه متأكد تماما من الارجيومنت، من المرافعة وحجته كمحامي في هذا الموضوع ان شاء الله. هو كمان عارف ان المحكمة لسه هتشوف هل من حق القاضي أميت مهتا انه يدي تأشيرات خارج الفيزيكال يير، خارج السنة المالية ام لا، لكنه شايف ان كلام المحكمة بالفعل كان بيقول ان القاضي أميت مهتا من حقه انه يصدر التأشيرات. ورجعنا تاني قلنا التشيكس اند بالانسز، قال لو القاضي مش من حقه يصدر تأشيرات يبقى معنى كده ان الحكومة، هل الحكومة من حقها بقى تلعب بالقوانين وتستغل القوانين زي ما هي عايزة؟ فقلت له والتشيكس اند بالانسز تروح فين، وضبط السلطات يروح فين لما السلطة دي لازم تضبط السلطة دي، بحيث ان القضاء لازم يقوم الحكومة. فأقر ذلك إن شاء الله. So with that we can close talking about 2020. But do you think now when the Judge Mehta order the government to keep getting ready and making every effort, they said they wanted to take until April to do the pilot and what do you think about this movement from Judge Mehta?
Well, I mean, we asked for it. Our team was, we fully thought that would be the best use of. They've already spent the money to update in the technology they needed. And it's important that they do that. Number one, they've already paid for it. Number two, if we were to prevail, I would expect that the government would have to take, it's not going to be in 30 days, but they're going to have to quickly adjudicate and issue the visas. The first step in that, though, is going to be to select who is going to receive that interview notice, because we know that there are way more than 9,095 potential winners in this, what I would call like second lottery, right? Yeah. And so the government should be working on how it will select them.
Okay. سألت السيد جيسي بليس عن قرار القاضي بالاستعداد التام من قبل الحكومة واستمرار استعدادات الحكومة لصرف التأشيرات في حالة الحكم لصالحنا إن شاء الله. فقال إحنا طلبنا من القاضي في الارجيومنت بتاعتنا طلبنا من القاضي إنه يؤكد على الحكومة إن الحكومة تكون مجهزة السيستم ومجهزة كمبيوتراتهم وبرامجهم تماما، خاصة إنهم صرفوا $500,000 بالفعل زي ما قالوا علشان يصلحوا السيستم بحيث إنه يستوعب 2020 و2021 مع 2022. فطلبنا من القاضي ذلك، وشايف السيد جيسي بليس بيقول إن في 2020 هو شايف ان اول ما الحكومه هيكون معانا قرار من محكمة الاستئناف في صفنا إن شاء الله، هيبقى الخطوة الجاية للحكومة ستكون إصدار التأشيرات. لكن أول خطوة هياخدوها هو اختيار من سيأخذ 9095 تأشيرة، وإحنا عارفين إن في أكتر بكتير من 9095 تأشيرة. Now about Muslim ban. Is Muslim ban going to take some of the 9095, sir? What do you think?
Well, when we're talking about those, did they have an interview or did they not have an interview?
So did they have interview or not? And then
yeah, I mean, those that were covered under, like, they were double banned, so to speak, right? So they have to meet the definition of our class, right? And so if they were, again, our position would be they should be open for consideration. But if they were denied or refused before, the government, that's an issue that we're going to have to work on that with the government, because the government could say, well, they're not class members because they were interviewed. But we don't have an answer to that yet.
سألت السيد جيسي بليس عن أهلا يا فاطمة. سألت السيد جيسي بليس عن المسلم بان، هل هيكون للمسلم بان جزء في 9095 تأشيرة؟ فقال بمنتهى البساطة لازم نعرف الأول اللي بيكلمنا في المسلم بان هل هو دخل مقابلة واترفض بسبب المسلم بان أم لم يدخل مقابلة في الأصل، ويتوقع في ذلك أن تطلب الحكومة أن هي تشوف هل ينطبق عليه وضع 9095 تأشيرة في الكلاس أكشن أم لا ينطبق عليه، بحيث أنه لو هو دخل المقابلة مش هيخش المقابلة تاني ويستنى موضوع الكونجرس بخصوص المسلم بان. أما هياخد 9095 تأشيرة هو اللي لم يسبق له الرفض في ذلك، ومع ذلك برضو لازم نستنى موقف الحكومة حيال هذا الموضوع. So if you allow me, we will just talk briefly about 2021 before we start talking about our case and everything about 2022. Would you allow me?
Yeah, sure. Again, I'll start though with, 2021 is not, if it's the difficult issues there regarding Curtis or Chuck's cases, I am not as up to speed on those cases. But
everybody was wishing you get involved in 2021. I see that in all the groups and everything. So where's just
that's a good topic to discuss. Why wasn't I involved? And the reason was I was working at the American Immigration Lawyers Association, and as an organization, we didn't have the resources and the team in place where I could get involved in 2021. I asked for it, but we did not have, enough capacity to take on a case in 2021. And there was a pending class action when we made that choice. And we didn't want to file a second class action. Good. So that's the answer to why I didn't get involved, or Ayla did not get involved.
Yeah. سألته أولا عن 2021 ليه هو ما تدخلش أو إيلا ما تدخلتش في 2021، بينما كل الناس في الجروبات كانت بتتوقع أن إيلا تدخل في قضايا 2021. هو قال ما كانش عندهم المصادر الكافية. نمرة واحد، ما كانش عندهم المصادر الكافية لا المالية ولا المعلوماتية أنهم يقدروا يخشوا في قضايا في 2021، حيث أنهم جمعية غير ربحية. كمان كان عايز يدخل القضية وطلب منهم هم الإدارة رفضت، لأن كان معاهم قضية كلاس أكشن اللي هي جوميز، فما كانوش عايزين يعملوا قضيتين كلاس أكشن يبقى الموضوع كبير عليهم. نرجع تاني ونسأله عن موقف 2021. With everybody knowing Jesse Bluss and how your position as a lawyer and everything in this field for them many years in the government and the Justice Department of Justice, and here with us and in AILA. Everybody is just want to know your opinion about what's happening in 2021 and situation right now.
In terms of the appeals or in terms of just the case in general?
Let's say first, if I am a 2021 winner and I'm not involved in any of the litigations, do I have a chance?
Oh, I know that's come up a bit. I think if you're a RAI, if you were subject to the regional bans and you're, so RAI, the RAI, that case, granted relief to those who were subject to the regional ban. And I don't believe you had to be a named plaintiff. So if you were one of those covered plaintiffs in RAI, meaning you were subject to the regional ban, yes. My understanding for the other cases in Good Luck and Go, the answer is no. You have to be a named plaintiff. But that could be wrong, and I'm sure Curtis will tell me if I am. But that's my understanding.
Yeah. بسأله هل دلوقتي لو أنا مش من القضايا، مش من المدعين في أي قضية من قضايا 21، هل أستفيد من هل لسه ليا أمل؟ فقال لو أنت مقيم في منطقة راي، منطقة الاتحاد الأوروبي وجوهانسبرغ، تقدر تستفيد من قضية راي، ولكن في القضايا الأخرى فالقضايا الأخرى فقط للمدعين. وهو قال الأحسن في ذلك إنه ينتظر رأي. ده رأيه وهو غير واثق إنه يطابق رأي موريسون وباقي المحامين أم لا. So now can we talk about the appeal in that case? Do you think they have a chance? They don't have a chance? What do you think about this appeal?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the overlap, there's a lot of overlap with 2020. So I do see that the cases, at least with regard to the tiered structure, the prioritization, and the implementation for those months where the proclamation was in place, I think there's certainly their case is going to probably rise or fall with 2020. There's issues relating to specific standing of plaintiffs in RAI in Good Luck. And I'm just not familiar with the issues enough to speak to that. But yeah, I don't see kind of a split decision where 2020 wins and 2021 loses. Could it happen? Sure, but I don't see that.
Good. سيداتي، سألت المحامي عن وضع 2021 في المحكمة، وقال هناك تداخل بين 2020 و 2021 من حيث الارجيومنت ومن حيث البناء للقضيتين. فهو شايف ان لو قضية 2020 فازت تعتبر قضية 2021 فازت من حيث موقف 2021. هو شايف ان موقف 2021 قوي ويتوقع الفوز لحضراتكم ان شاء الله. ده بما يخص 2021. المحامي جيسي بليس ليس له قضايا في 2021، لذلك سننتقل الآن ل 2022. Now we're going to move to 2022 and what's happening on the floor right now. Would you like first to talk about your case or just talk in general and have questions?
Yeah, I guess we can talk about our cases. So we have two. We have one that was directed specifically against the Sydney, Australia consulate, who refused to do any interviews because the consulate was moving physical locations. And then we have our Husu complaint, which is related to the delays, across the board. And at the time we filed, the consulate had issued, this was February 1st.
That's Sydney consulate.
No, well, all the consulates, I mean, worldwide,
Yeah.
the Department of State had issued, somewhere around maybe 1,200 visas. And now they've, the pace has changed materially, right? They'll probably, people who are way smarter than me, expect them now to be able to reach 35,000 visas issued. So our case has obviously changed. Sydney still has done 0, but for our bigger case, we have, I think, 23 or 24. Of those 6 EU cases today, 2 of those were our plaintiffs.
Yeah.
So we now have 24 of our 112 HUSU plaintiffs, I believe, who've received notices. And so we have 89 left. Check my math on that.
89. Very good. سيداتي وسادتي، سألت المحامي جيسي بليس عن موقف 2022 وما سيراه. هل نتكلم أولا في القضايا المسندة المقامة منه ومن طرفه على الخارجية الأمريكية؟ فهو قال نتكلم في قضايا الأول، في القضية الأولى اللي أقامها على سفارة سيدني. يعتبر رابحة القضية، وإن كانت سيدني لم تصدر أي تأشيرات بعد، وبالفعل نال ما كان يتمناه بالفعل في قضية سيدني وفي قضية هوسو، القضية التي اجتمعنا هنا بشأنها. فتم حصول 24 حالة ومتبقي 29 حالة اليوم، في 2 حالتين كمان اليوم في EU في أوروبا. النهاردة حالتين كمان يبقوا 24 حالة، متبقي له 29 حالة. زي ما قال لي هيبص على الحساب بعد كده ويصحح لو كان في مشكلة. So I said that about the litigations. Now, what about 2020 in general? Where do you see that going now?
Or 2022, you mean?
2022, yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so if, again, so it kind of relates to the whole litigation, not only our cases, but, all of them, so let's assume that they issue 35,000 visas, right?
Yeah.
The fight,
we're still short 20,000.
We're still, yeah. Well, they were never going to get to 55, and a court's never going to order them to issue 55. So the real fight, as I see it, is over 10, about 10,000, right? Because 45,000 gets you back to a historical trend. Yeah. And obviously, those sets of facts where you have 35 that will be issued makes the case difficult. There's no other way. Fully honest, like that's a very hard case because you're asking a judge to say, geez, they wasted 5 months, then they ramped up. Should I grant relief to these named plaintiffs, and make them whole because of some of the things that happen regarding issuing visas to people who were not current, going out of order, specific embassies like Cairo who have done nothing, Addis, Accra, Johannesburg, Amman, Ankara. I think it's possible, but it's really going to be difficult.
Okay. بسأل المحامي عن وضعية 2022 الآن وما رأيك فيما يحدث. هو قال إن هو بيتوقع ل 2022 حوالي 35. لو تفكرين حضراتكم قلت الرقم ده من زمان قوي، من 30 ل 35 ألف. قال إن هو الوضع تغير وشايف إن هم ممكن يصلوا إلى 35 ألف بذلك هيكون ناقص لنا 20,000 تأشيرة. لا يمكن أبدا لكي سي سي أنها توصل لرقم 55,000 تأشيرة ولا 50,000 تأشيرة. سيكون النزاع بعد ذلك لدى المحاكم على الأقل على 10,000 تأشيرة إضافية، منها مثلا السفارات اللي ما اشتغلتش زي سفارة القاهرة والسفارات الأخرى، وهيكون الكلام للقاضي في أول 5 شهور هم ما اشتغلوش، بعد كده الشغل اللي اشتغلوه بعد كده كان قد إيه، وكل ذلك هيكون الموضوع صعب، ولازم نخش للقاضي بكل ذلك إن شاء الله. Okay, so Omar, as usual, here is asking his questions. Omar, he's always here and with Simon and everybody. By the way, Omar is 2021. Mr. Joseph Bless, he's saying, Mr. Joseph Bless, my question about the Congress and the new jumpstart that they're talking about. It includes Ming amendment and the other BBB and everything. Do you think they will vote for that, and why yes and why not?
Yeah, I don't see immigration reform happening before the midterm elections, because we're going to have midterm elections here. I don't think there's going to be any legislation passed right now unless it's related to the situation in Ukraine, or something to deal with what everyone knows or thinks about inflation right now. Immigration reform, in my view, is off the table. And the only way it would happen is if Democrats fully backed and voted for straight along party lines, because they know they're going to get crushed in the midterms, meaning they're going to lose a lot of seats. That's the only way. And even then, I don't think recapturing visas would be, I don't think Democrats would pass recapturing visas.
اوكي. السيد جيسي بليس بيجاوب على سؤال عمر اللي حضراتكم شايفينه على الشاشة عن موضوع الجامب ستارت، وهل الكونجرس هيصوت للكلام ده أم لا. السيد جيسي بليس بيقول هو مش شايف أبدا، وقالها بطريقة متخصصة للغاية، مش شايف هو ان هيحصل اي تصويت على مشاريع للهجرة في المرحلة القادمة. حتى لو حدث هيكون من خوف الديمقراطيين انهم يخسروا اصوات في الميد تيرم الكشنز اللي جايه في الانتخابات الوسطيه او المتوسطه اللي موجوده، اللي هتاخد موعد في شهر 11 إن شاء الله. هو شايف إن حتى لو ده حدث لازم يكون كل الديمقراطيين خلف هذا القرار، وده صعب جدا. لازم يخافوا شوية على خسارتهم لبعض المقاعد في المجالس، مجلس النواب، مجلس الشيوخ، وعلى شعبيتهم. فلازم كل الديمقراطيين يساندوا ذلك، وحتى إذا حدث ذلك فهو مش متصور إن هيكون أي شيء بأثر رجعي، وهيكون هم بس باصين للمستقبل بحيث إنهم يكسبوا أصوات في الانتخابات القادمة. أول سؤال التأشيرات المخفضة حتى بداية ولد الشعب. he's a Moroccan active too. He's really active here. He said his first question is asking our generous lawyer, is there a possibility to raise, to increase the reserved visas to be issued in 2023? He's talking about the 2020 and 2021 visas that are reserved. I mean, especially in good luck. I correct that. He's talking about good luck.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think good luck. Again, this is not my case. This is Curtis's case, but yeah. I don't think that case is eligible for an addition because it's only for the named plaintiffs. The relief is only for the named plaintiffs.
Let me tell you what I know. We got 6,914 visas ordered by Judge Mieta so far. And in December, Mr. Curtis Morrison asked an increase of, I think, 3,600 people based on wrong mathematic was done. And that is what I know so far.
Has the judge ruled on that?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Well, that's see, I didn't know that. So good. You explain it then.
اوكي. السيد جيسي بليس كان مش عارف الموقف شكله ايه، فشرحت له. بقول لولد الشعب السيد كيرتس موريسون معاه 6000 امر من القاضي ب 6914 تاشيره. عايز اقول لحضرتك يا ولد الشعب ان السيد كيرتس موريسون طلب من القاضي زياده تقريبا، مش فاكر الرقم، تقريبا 3600 تأشيرة بناء على حسبة خاطئة حسبها المحامي، حسبها القاضي. Mr. Jesse, second in جوميز. ولم ينفذ قرار بإصدار التأشيرة بشهر إبريل كما كان المقرر. مش فاهم السؤال يا عمر، لو سمحت حتى اكتبه بالانجليزي. الهجرة التي الشهر القادم سيكون. Oh, that's a good question. 2023 is coming up in 2 weeks, in less than 3 weeks. So you think they're going to have a problem as well?
Well, I mean, I don't know. And that's the best I can do. I think it depends how the KCC is going to process the selectees. Is there going to be this delay pilot program? How are they going to make those DQ or eligible for interview for 2023? And then the next question was, even if KCC behaves this year, is there going to be a continuation of this prioritization scheme? At the very least, those that are at specific embassies will probably have issues. I mean, if Cairo continues what it's doing, Addis, maybe there'll be, how are those in Europe scheduled, in Warsaw, Ankara, gonna be able to get through an interview? Because we know that the situation in Ukraine is going to cause massive problems for a number of nationals who are assigned to the EU.
السيد جيسي بليس بيقول ردا على سؤال 23، الوضع غامض بحيث ان حتى لو KCC احسنت التعامل الان في 2022، هل سيستمروا في ذلك ل 2023 ام لا؟ كمان الوضع بالنسبه للتاشيرات التي سيتم اصدارها 2021 و2020 المفروض ان كده بالمنظر ده هناخدها في 2023. هيحصل ايه؟ هل نظام بايلوت هيأخر 23؟ مش هيأخر 23. لا نعلم الإجابة على ذلك، والوضع في أوكرانيا وروسيا حاليا كمان، كل دي حاجات تخلينا مش عارفين الوضع هيكون شكله ايه في 2023 يا عمر. This is a question, but I still have to tell you this question. Why don't you the lawyers ask for a meeting with the DOS and explain what you see and what's happening to them and your vision about the lottery visa? I wish it was that easy.
Oh, I mean, I have. I mean, we've met. We have met with them, and I asked them to settle our case, both of them. They don't see it. I mean, we've asked this in Gomez too. You have to understand what they believe, and let me just, articulate the government's position. diversity visas are not like other immigrant visa categories. So that's number one. They're at, by law, they believe that diversity visa applicants sit below family-based and employment-based because they don't have a hook, meaning they don't have a connection to the United States that the employer-sponsored and family-sponsored applicants for immigrant visas share. That's number one.
Okay.
Go for it. Yeah.
للسيد علاء السيد جيسي بليس بيقول لحضرتك مين قال لك انه ما بيحصلش، بل انه بيحصل مع كل قضيه بيلتقوا مع ممثلي الحكومه اللي هي الخارجيه وبيشرحوا لهم وجهه نظرهم. المشكله كما يشرحها السيد جيسي بليس ان الحكومه ترى ان من الوجهه القانونيه بالنسبه لهم وبالنسبه لوجهه نظرهم هم، حضراتكم تقبعون في ادنى القائمه تحت الهجرة العائلية الفاميلي فيزا، والامبلوي فيزا حضراتكم تقبعوا في أسفل ذلك الترتيب. ليه؟ لأن الهوك يعني صلاتكم بالولايات المتحدة الأمريكية، العائلات متصلة بالولايات المتحدة الأمريكية بالأصول، بالزوج، الزوجة، الابن، الابنة، وهكذا. الامبلويمنت فيزا متصلة بالولايات المتحدة الأمريكية بأصحاب العمل، ولذلك فهم يرون أن، وهذا خاطئ من وجهة نظرنا، يرون أن ليس لكم صلة بالولايات المتحدة الأمريكية، لذلك تضعف نسبكم. Yes, sir. Number two.
So this other part is that the Department of State and maybe the government believes that there's just rampant fraud in the diversity visa program. And that's rampant kind of that's an institutional bias that the DV program is riddled with fraud.
هناك فكرة تعم في أرجاء الخارجية أن الهجرة العشوائية تعتبر نوع من أنواع الاحتيال، أو هناك ما يجري من الاحتيال في الهجرة العشوائية، وهذا مسيطر على عقول دوائر وزارة الخارجية الأمريكية فيما يختص بالهجرة العشوائية. Can we explain how they think it's a fraud or no?
I mean, and again, this is based on personal conversations that I've had. I think they think that a lot of the documents are fraud, or that, some of the and we have seen it, right? Some of the helpers out there, the organizational helpers, help people maybe create fabricated documents or identity documents or educational documents to make people eligible or chargeable when they're not. So I don't have information because I don't work with the DV applicants through the process. I've handled just the litigation part of it. So I've never seen it, but apparently that's a very big theory of some of those that are that dislike the program. And that's honestly, when you look back at the passport rule, that's all about fraud.
That's all about fraud. That's why they came up with that.
I mean, part of it, security and fraud.
سيد جيسي بليس لما سألته ازاي الحكومة بتظن ان هذا محض احتيال، فقال الحكومة تظن ان هناك من يعد كل هذه الأوراق للناس، بتروح لمكتب، المكتب بيفبرك شهادات إذا كانت شهادات تعليمية أو غيرها، لذلك لا يثقوا بالشهادات ولا يثقوا حتى بشهادات الميلاد، وكل هذا يعتقدوا أنه يسهل تزويره بالخارج. ومن هنا كانت طلب الإدارة السابقة بالباسبورت في 2020 لما بقى التقديم بالباسبور، لذلك فهم لا يثقون في ذلك. وهو يتكلم عن وجهة نظر الحكومة لما كان بيسألهم، ودي إجابتهم، هو غير مقتنع بالإجابة بالمرة، ولكن هذه إجابات الحكومة وتصورهم عن الهجرة العشوائية. Somebody was asking about what's happening now. Oh, about in 2020 and them reserved visas at all. Do you think they will do anything to add newborn children? People got married, people died, stuff like that. What do you think gonna happen to that and them litigations?
Yeah, I think for added family members, for sure. I do think that those people should be considered. I mean, if the principal, if they have new derivatives and they're selected, yeah, those should count. If the principal has died, they're not going to be. I mean, I think that one is less likely to be handled.
Okay, so that's in the matter of death for the principal, not the derivatives. But if I was single, now I'm married with a baby, what should I do? Or should I just do the family-based visa afterwards?
So you were married. What happened?
I was single in 2020, for example. I'm not single in 2020.
Yeah.
Oh, I was. Wait a minute. Anyway, I was single in 2020 when I applied for the diversity visa 2020. I won. I did not go to the interview, and now I'm going to an interview. But I got married in 2021, and I have a baby in 2022. What should I do?
They should allow you to add the derivatives.
Okay.
But again, this is something where if we are successful, we need to have this conversation with the government, because it's not. I don't want to say that this is guaranteed. I'm saying this would be our position.
Okay. بالنسبة لي مامة ونيس السؤال هيكون هل في حالة الوفاة المتوفي، لو الفائز الرئيسي تعتبر القضية انتهت، الموضوع انتهى. لو مش الفائز الرئيسي يمكنه إبلاغ ساعة المقابلة بذلك. أما في حالة الازدياد اللي تزوج وكده، برضو لازم نستنى حكم المحكمة علشان نعرف رأي الخارجية في ذلك. ولكن أنا عن نفسي كساهر أنا عارف إن الخارجية لن تسمح بزيادة في الدياس، وحضراتكم هتبتدوا تعملوا، يعني يوصل أمريكا ويعمل لأولاده الجدد تأشيرات لم شمل. We almost 8 minutes left, so they want to talk about Khartoum embassy, which is so far they only have 13 cases. One of them was issued, and 11 are AP. Yeah, that is Khartoum. So what do you think about Khartoum situation now?
Well, I mean, there's two lawsuits, ours and Curtis has a lawsuit specifically at that embassy and what they're doing. It's similar, because the question could have asked, what about Cairo, or what about some of these other embassies? We have embassies, Sydney, Addis, I mean, I've mentioned them, Khartoum, that have done very little for the diversity visa applicants assigned to that consulate. And what do I think about it? I think it's wrong. And I think that's what the lawsuits are trying to fix. And what I know is that the government's going to come back and say, for Khartoum and maybe Addis and some of the others, maybe Warsaw, who's now really backlogged, they'll say, well, we have specific circumstances that prevented us from doing anything. And the argument against that will be to compare the interviews they gave to other immigrant categories.
Yeah, and exactly. Like today, I see a comparison between Bombay in India in them, and it's really not fair.
No, it's not. I mean, and again, I don't want to go off on a riff here, but I get really, obviously my clients get angry with me because I can't fix Cairo right now.
I know.
And I tell them I need a judge my job is to give voice to your story and my voice to those in Khartoum and Addis and everywhere. But I can't make the change. I can be the voice of it.
Very good. So السيد جيسي بليس يتكلم عن سفارة الخرطوم وسفارة القاهرة وأديس أبيبة ويقول هو عنده نفس الارجيومنت ونفس القضية مع زميله في المهنة كيرتس موريسون وعامل قضية بخصوص القضية يا جماعة ما بتبقاش على السفارة، القضية بتبقى على الخارجية بخصوص السفارة، علشان انا عرفت ان في جهله بيقولوا لكم ايه رافعين بيضحك عليكم ويقول لكم رافع قضيه على السفاره. لا، القضيه بتترفع على الخارجيه بخصوص الوضع في سفاره كذا. هو شايف ان دوره بيكون توصيل الصوت والارجيومنت والحجه للقاضي وبيعملوا اللي عليهم، ولكن الباقي بيكون على حكم القاضي. هو مستاء جدا مما يحدث في السودان وسفارات أخرى خاصة وارسو والقاهرة طبعا، ولكن كل اللي في إيديهم يعملوه أنهم يرفعوا القضية ويحطوا الحجة القوية والمرافعة القوية أمام القاضي وينتظروا قرار القاضي. هل تعتقدون أن في إصدار التأشيرات المحفوظة سيتم الاعتماد على الكيس نمبر؟ ولد الشعب the Moroccan again, he said, when they start issuing visas, do you think they will prioritize those who had documentary qualified in the past? We're talking about 2020 or 2021 similar. He didn't mention.
I don't know what the government's position is going to be. I assume it's going to be because the judge said strictly in randomized order according to the statute, right? But then the regulations, as I read them, require regional rank number. And I don't know where they left off and how they're going to recreate the wheel. So I don't think they're going to go back and I think everyone had been processed or DQ'd, and I don't think they're going to go back.
We have around 18,000.
Right, and I think they're going to accept that people were DQ'd, and then they'll have to submit the documents at an interview. They're not going to go back and take 18,000 petitions and 260s, and so I think it's really going to be about where did we leave off according to the order of consideration, and where do we pick that up? And do we factor in the regional disparities?
Yeah, that is a big issue. Let me translate what you said first, then we come to that. السيد جيسي بليس بيقول هو ما يعتقدش ان هيبقى في فتح لدي اس 260، ما يعتقدش ان هيبقى في ارسال وثائق او ما هم هيبتدوا من حيث انتهوا. هو ما يعرفش الرانك اللي وصلوا له، ما يعرفش وصلوا لحاله رقم كام بالظبط في ولكن كل نعرفه انه حوالي 18,000 تأشيرة. I remember that in Gomez in 2020 we had around 11,000 visa. If it's not for Gomez, we don't have more than that by now. Yeah, we could have been stuck with 11,000 visas until now. سيداتي شكرا جدا للسيد جيسي بليس وللمحامين. لولا جيسي بليس, if it's not for Jesse Bless and Isla and the other lawyers, we're stuck now with 11,000 or around 11,000 in 2020. بدون جهود جيسي بلس والمحامين الآخرون كنا زماننا دلوقتي 11,000 وشكرا في 2020 ولا كانت السفارات فتحت إلا مثلا من شهر مارس الماضي. This one gonna be a long and we can make it the last one if you want. He's talking about his position in 2020. He was born in Saudi Arabia and he lives in Cairo, Egypt. Thanks for coming today. What is his chargeability, country of chargeability? Based on that chargeability, he's Egyptian that born in Saudi Arabia. Does he need the so first going to be what's the nationality of chargeability? It's country of chargeability, and which birth certificate he gonna have to take with. ثالثا في التقديم number 3 كتبت انه مولود بمكة. Oh, he was born in Mecca. He was born in Riyadh, but he mentioned that he was born in Mecca. I know you heard this question before. I was there when you see that question with Simon. So first of all, he is Egyptian that is born in Saudi Arabia. What is the chargeability country for him?
I say Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, which is right. إذن بلد الchargeability بتاعتك السعودية. So which does he have to show his Saudi birth certificate in that case?
Yes.
Or the Egyptian one?
No, you wouldn't show the Egyptian. Whatever one shows where his place of birth is. I mean, they probably should both show that he was born in Mecca, which is Saudi Arabia, which will dictate where he's chargeable to, which is Saudi Arabia. And that's important because he does not want to be chargeable to Egypt unless he has a very low number.
Yeah. ما نعرفش رقمك كام، يا ريت تقول لنا رقمك كام. السيد جيسي بليس بيقول لحضرتك انت بلد الاهليه بتاعتك السعوديه، ولازم تاخد الشهاده السعوديه معاك. ممكن تاخد الشهاده المصريه، لكن لازم تاخد الشهاده الاصليه اللي بتقول التشارجبيلتي بتاعتك على السعوديه صحيحه. اما now he was born in Riyadh and he write in his DS260 that he was born in Mecca. What do you think? Do you think that's a big mistake that he did? Them are two close cities, like 2 hours between.
No. And even if he was, and I know, Simon's more, and maybe you have dealt with this before, but even if you're still chargeable to the region, it's not a death sentence. And maybe I shouldn't say that, but it's not, okay. It's, so I think that's explainable.
السيد جيسي بليس بيقول لحضرتك هو مش شايف ابدا ان عندك مشكله بخصوص رياض او مكه طالما انت التشارجبيلتي بتاعتك على السعوديه تمام، ما عندكش مشكله. وبخلاف ذلك احنا مش شايفين ان عندك مشكله خالص في اي حاجه، طالما انت الرقم بتاعك AS يبقى انت ماشي سليم. حتى الاسم الرابع مش مشكلة. Now we come to the end of the 1 hour, and if there is anything you want to say or talk about before we let you go, and we're very grateful for you being here with us. Thank you very much.
I'll just say that there is good news to share regarding the Department of State's change since February, that they're issuing 2NLs, 400 and something odd today in Africa. So, but that doesn't mean that everyone will receive. We do know that they're not going to issue anywhere near 45 or 55. So we have kind of a mixed bag, which is better than what we had in February, but probably not going to satisfy everyone. And so, for those of you waiting for a 2NL, just stay healthy, stay positive, seek out the truth. Don't listen to stories and fake news. And I just wish everybody well.
Yep. السيد جيسي بليس بيقول لحضراتكم في جود نيوز، في اخبار كويسه ان الخارجيه ابتدت من شهر فبراير انها تشتغل معانا، لكن لازم نتحرى الصدق ونتحرى الأخبار الصحيحة اللي بناخدها، ونعرف إحنا بناخد أخبار منين. مش أي حد يقول خبر ناخد الخبر و نفرح بيه ونروح نشيره في كل مكان، والخبر أصلا خاطئ مثلا. Is there anything you want to say about those who are saying that litigations is not changing anything? Litigations did not help anybody, because especially in the Arabs groups, we see people that saying litigations are a fluke. Litigations had nothing so far. Look at them; they're still appealing. They never won anything. I'd like to hear you talking about this.
Well, I mean, let me see if I can see that picture in the corner up there above my bookshelf up there. I have a picture that is from one of our class reps in Gomez, who sent me that when she came here and settled in New York. And I know that even this year, so in Gomez, we definitely had about 10,000 people enter the United States because of our litigation. So that's number one. Number two, in the last 2 months, I've had 23, 24 plaintiffs get interviews. And whether it's because, it doesn't matter if it's because of the litigation or not. They got them and they're here. Right. So I don't really, care what those naysayers believe, because I have the real truth, because I have people in the United States who have benefited. And, again, it doesn't mean that everyone needs to file a lawsuit or litigation. I don't need to be a champion of litigation. Just like I don't need to be the champion of Nike shoes because I wear Nike shoes. Like, if you don't like Nike shoes, don't wear them.
Yeah. السيد جيسي بليس بيجاوب على سؤال احنا بنقول له. الناس بتقول قضايا 2021 لم تفلح حتى الآن، و2020 لم تفلح حتى الآن، مطعون عليهم كلهم. قال ان هو لا يهم ابدا زعم الزاعمين، وان بصيتوا على كتفه الأيسر هتلاقوا صورة لأحد من كان يمثلهم في قضية جوميز، ومقيم الآن في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية في نيويورك. وحتى الآن بفضل قضايا 2020 هناك حوالي 10,000 من 2020 دخلوا الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية. ومن خلال قضايا 2021 في قضية جودلك فقط على الأقل هناك من 3,800 ل 4,000 دخلوا الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية. لولا القضايا لم يدخل حوالي 10,000 من 2020، حتى لو توقفنا عند رقم 11,000 تأشيرة اللي كنا أخذناهم لحد شهر مارس. هو لا يهتم بالزاعمين والكاذبين، هو يهتم بإنجاز العمل والعمل على ربح القضايا وإنه يكسب القضايا، لأن دي شغلته طبعا، ويشوف الناس سعداء. هو سعيد بما أنجز وهم سعداء بالوصول للولايات المتحدة الأمريكية. I'm so glad to see you and hear you today, have you here with us, and thank you very, very much. Thank you very much once again.
All right, you be good. Hey, happy citizenship, right?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. That was sweet from you. I suffered for that. I'll let you know later.
You look. If I could grow that beard, by the way, I totally would. I love it.
Well, I'm telling you right now, just wait like 5 more years. Your beard will.
I can't even. Yeah, but I don't even have it. I don't even have this. I can't even get the full thing going. But it's a good look. I'm always grateful for your time, and
thank you.
I hope I could help those who are celebrating Ramadan and going through and watching. Maybe they took a break from the game. So
at least when you don't drink in front of them, they consider that sharing. Thank you very much.
I wouldn't do that. Yes. Okay.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye. You have a great one, sir. Thank you. سيداتي وسادتي، هو ده كان لقائنا مع المحامي جيسي بليس. هنجيب لكم كمان يوم الجمعة معانا موعد مع المحامي كيرتس موريسون. بعد كده الأسبوع اللي جاي لينا موعد مع المحامي تشارلز كوك. كل ما يسعد حضراتكم. أرجو منكم تملي أنكم تنشروا الوعي لغيركم، وهي دي مهمتنا مش نعمل أدسنس، مهمتنا مش نعمل 26 سنت في الساعة ب10,000 واحد، مش مهمتنا نعمل دولار من وراء حضراتكم. مهمتنا نجيب لكم جيسي، بليس، سايمون، تشارلز كوك، رافائيل رينا، كيرتس موريسون، جريك سيسكند، حسين فلوريدا، واسيني، رضوان، كمال، سيدو. كل الناس دي هي مهمتنا نجيبهم هنا يكلموا حضراتكم، يجاوبوا على أسئلتكم. لا نبغي مالا من أحد، فما آتانيه الله خير وأبقى. ولا أفرح بهدايا إذا كانت من فيسبوك ولا من تويتر ولا من يوتيوب، بل أنتم يعني، بل من يزعمون ذلك، بل أنتم بهديتكم تفرحون. أنتم ناس تفرحوا بأدسنس، أنا الحمد لله مش محتاج أدسنس. ما عنديش فيديو، ما عنديش إعلانات على 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 منصات بنذيع عليهم، ما عندناش أدسنس عليهم. أنا متشكر لحضراتكم. هتلاقوا الجديد تملي هنا، الخبر الصحيح هتلاقوه هنا، المعلومة الصحيحة هتلاقوها هنا. غير هنا تملي هتلاقوا اللي عايز يفتح عيادة، اللي جاي ينصب على الناس ويقول لهم ان هو دكتور، وان هو بيطري، ان هو بتاع مش عارف ايه. هنا بنعامل الله الواحد القهار. لا يهمنا احد، ما بنجيبش حد ورا ستاره سودا ونقول له اتكلم. ما تنسوش حضراتكم، احضرونا تملي. والله أبقى، وما عند الله خير. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. كان معكم أخوكم ساهر عطية حمودة. ألف شكر لحضراتكم.